Sixth graders, it's Miss Nicolay, and today we're going to be talking about October reading goals. So it's important to have a reading goal for a couple different reasons. The first is it is something to constantly be aware of while reading. Kind of keeps you focused and on track. And then having a goal to focus on while reading will allow you to be more reflective about what you're reading. So if you have a guiding question or an I can statement with your reading goal, it's always something to come back to that's more than just summarizing the main events more than just summarizing kind of what happened in what you read, but a reflection is to go a little bit deeper and to discuss maybe key details of what happened and why they're significant to the story or the plot, or how the setting might impact your main character. So you're taking a deeper dive into some parts of the story, which results in being more of a reflective reader rather than just summarizing. And I'm going to model this at some point throughout the year. Okay, first, when you're setting your reading goal, pick something you want to focus on while reading. Most of you are reading fiction, okay? When I did check in with you last week, it seemed like most of you are reading fiction. You can use nonfiction for this, but I'm going to take you through some of the fiction focus points. So first, you might focus on plot, which is, taking you through beginning to end of the story and looking at that mountain and addressing kind of the climax, some main parts leading up to the climax, the downfall. You may focus on setting and how that really affects different things in your story and how it's important to the story. It drives the story. You may focus on characters or a character, maybe your protagonist, which is your main character, maybe your antagonist, which is a character or force that works against your main character, your protagonist. You may focus on characters' interactions, their conflicts, what then leads you into conflict. You can focus on internal or external conflicts that happen maybe between your characters or just internal conflicts your character has. There's a lot of different things you can do here. Also, you can focus on vocabulary, figurative language. When I talk about figurative language, this is when you hear those words like onomatopoeia and metaphors and similes and symbolism, which is really a higher level of thinking, and then theme and ideas. It starts off, I did list them by I would say like relatively easier, so plot and setting, to very challenging, which is vocabulary, figurative language, and theme. All right, and we also have nonfiction, which is main idea, key details, vocabulary, and author's purpose. So if you are reading nonfiction, you would want to stay on that side. However, many of you are reading fiction. If you think it's nonfiction, you may want to check with me first. Okay, now put your goal into an I can statement, all right? So you're going to use these words. So once you've picked a topic to focus on, you're going to use these words to help you create your I can statement. So some examples of how you might start it out are: I can infer how, I can identify when, I can explain how the setting is important to driving the story and how it might change. I don't know. I'm just kind of adding on. I can relate to, I can summarize when. So this is kind of building your reading goal, and you're writing in an I can statement. So you're going to need to pick one of these words here. All right. Okay. And then here's mine, just an example. So that's actually not the book I'm reading right now. I'm currently reading Nothing More Dangerous. So my reading goal is I can analyze. So I took one of those words, how protagonist, which is my main character, Bodhi, is challenged by external conflict happening around him and related to events happening in our world today. Okay, so I took two of those words. So I took analyze and I took relate. Now, you don't have to, but I thought it would be a stronger reading goal, and it was more specific if I took two. Notice it's very specific to my story. I even include my main character's name or my protagonist in there, okay? And it's very relevant. I'm taking the story and I'm connecting to what's happening in the world around us. So that would be an example of a strong reading goal, kind of right here. So October reading goal check-in. I would say what I picked was a little bit for my reading level is between the 4 and the 3. probably more specifically, just knowing me as a reader and where I'm at, I would say for me, this is a 3. So it's specific, it's approachable, it's a specific, appropriate, and achievable. So I would rate myself at a 3 right there. Okay. If I would have written something that was even more specific and more direct and something that I really need to grow in as a reader, I think this is good. I'm still growing as a reader. I'm being more reflective in my reading when using that reading goal. But I think I could have probably, just knowing where I'm at, I could be a 4, specific, challenging, and achievable. All right. So this is how you're going to be graded. If you get, once you complete the October reading goal, if you get, hey, a 2, that means it needs to be more specific. There needs to be more information, or it needs to be more challenging. And if you get a 1, then you're going to need to talk to the teacher. This is just going in as practice. So you are going to be doing that today when you're setting your October reading goal. And you'll be filling that out on the Google form. All right. If you have any questions, please contact me or your teacher.